Yeah. And I think one of the things that's really unique about you is you look at it as whole body, whole health, wellness when you look at dentistry. And I think that's a lot of dentists don't do that, so don't look at it through that lens. So tell us a little bit more about why our oral health is such a critical part of our overall health and longevity.
Well, I found that when you look in somebody's mouth or you review their health history, you can learn a lot about people. You can find out what kinds of medications they're on. You can take a look in their mouth. Do they have dry mouth? Are they clenching? Do they have wear? There's a lot of little clues when you do a completely thorough examination that you can find out about a person's health. We can find out if there's an airway restriction, if they're having sleep apnea, if they have. I've diagnosed acid reflux, I bet, on about 20 people in the last few months, because I can see the erosion, which a lot of people just ignored. It was always, do I have any cavities and how are my gums? But there's a lot more going on to your oral health and your overall health than cavities and gums. So
Yeah.
I feel like I've really been able to be a part of the health plan.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. I am so excited about today's episode because I get to sit down with my dear friend and client, Dr. Lee Weisbard. Lee is an incredible woman who has built a thriving, high touch, $1 million dental practice. But what makes her practice stand out is her philosophy. She has created a patient centered experience that isn't just about fixing teeth. It's about whole body wellness, confidence, and truly caring for the people she serves. Lee's journey is one of passion, purpose, and intentional business growth. She's taken a stand in her industry, prioritizing relationships over insurance driven models. And in doing so, she has built a wildly successful practice that changes lives. Today, we're diving into how she built a 7-figure business that thrives on deep relationships, something that we all can learn from. The connection between oral health and overall wellness, because your mouth tells a much bigger story about your health than you might think. The life changing impact of aesthetic dentistry and how it can transform confidence and self worth, and her best advice for women entrepreneurs looking to grow a sustainable, purpose driven business. Let's meet Dr. Lee Weisbard. Well, Dr. Lee, I am so excited to have you here on Extraordinary Women Radio today. I'm just excited for this conversation.
Me as well. I'm excited to be counted as one of your extraordinary women.
Oh, you are totally an extraordinary woman. You've got amazing stories to share and you do amazing work. And I've known you for several years. I don't even know how many years we've known each other now, a long time, it seems like. And I just love knowing you. And I love what you have built in your business. And I'm excited to really share that story. And you just got an amazing, amazing business that you've built. But you started your world into dentistry before. I mean, you've had your practice for 40 years, right?
I have.
But it started before then, this passion for dentistry. So tell us a little bit about how you found your way into loving dentistry.
So, for as far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a dentist. So, I was in middle school, I was in high school, and I always said, I'm going to be a dentist. I have no idea why. I knew I wanted to be in the medical field. I loved working with my hands. One of the gifts I say I have is the visualization. So
Mhm.
I could see things and then make it happen with my hands. So it just seemed to be a great fit to do dentistry. Then I went to CU Boulder, and a friend of mine, I was checking IDs in the dorm, and a friend of mine said, "You should meet this dentist that I work for." And I went to see him, and everything changed. He
Mm.
was such a kind man. He loved what he did. And he gave me an opportunity to actually see what it would be like and to see it through his eyes. And I was completely hooked. And that was back, oh my God, 1976,
Oh my
long
God,
time
that's so
ago.
awesome. And I love as a little girl that you had this vision that you wanted to go down this pathway. So it's just, I can see you as a little girl doing that. So it's exciting. Now you've built this $1 million a year practice, and I know you approach dentistry in a different way than a lot of dentists. So can you share a little bit more about your philosophies that have contributed to your success?
So when I first started, I was in public health. The US Public Health Service paid for my dental education. So for 3 years full time and 3 years part time. I worked at Westside Neighborhood Health Center, and it was really wonderful. It gave me an opportunity to hone my skills, work with people, and really feel good about the work I was doing without worrying about a business. And from there, I started in somebody's office and built a scratch practice. Did the dental design, got the business plan, got the loan, and opened up my first office in the tech center. What was really cool is, from day one, I felt like I was able to live according to my values. And I didn't just buy into, you know, the insurance industry and all of the pressures of how to run a business in dentistry. And I looked at it more, how do I want to run my business? How
Yeah.
do I want to treat people, and how do I want to serve? So it was a different kind of business model. And then as my practice grew and I was able to see more people, I realized that insurance companies were getting more and more into dictating treatment. And I will not allow an outside source dictate care. I feel like that's a personal thing between the doctor and the patient, and we
Right.
should sit down and talk about what's best for them, what do they want, what works, and not just based on how the insurance will reimburse or pay for it. So the business model is completely different, and it really brings the relationship back to the patient and the dentist, as opposed to putting that insurance company kind of in the middle.
And it made a big difference to your bottom line too, because you started to shift away from the insurance companies taking so much of your what you
Right.
were earning.
Right. It made me feel like, how can I properly serve people and write off 30-40%? You
Right.
can't.
Right.
So I felt like people who are in those plans cut corners. They're not really providing optimal care. They
So volume.
yeah, they diagnose. Oh, excuse me. They diagnose based on the insurance. Like, oh, let's see what we can do that will be covered this year. So it was like the crown of the year. Every year, the person needs some kind of care, and they never really get to a healthy state and then maintain that health. So in
Mm,
our practice, my goal was to work myself out of a job. Somebody comes to our practice, we sit down, we find out what's important to them, why they're there, and then we put together a plan based on the information, and we get them to a healthy place and they stay there. Then they see the hygienist, they stay on maintenance, but they're healthy. They're not
right.
always in that state of, oh, next year we'll fix this and next year we'll do this. That's more like, being a fireman, putting fires out. And I just didn't think that that was adequate or optimal care.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's really unique about you is you look at it as whole body, whole health, wellness when you look at dentistry. And I think that's a lot of dentists don't do that, so don't look at it through that lens. So tell us a little bit more about why our oral health is such a critical part of our overall health and longevity.
Well, I found that when you look in somebody's mouth or you review their health history, you can learn a lot about people. You can find out what kinds of medications they're on. You can take a look in their mouth. Do they have dry mouth? Are they clenching? Do they have wear? There's a lot of little clues when you do a completely thorough examination that you can find out about a person's health. We can find out if there's an airway restriction, if they're having sleep apnea, if they have I've diagnosed acid reflux, I bet, on about 20 people in the last few months, because I can see the erosion, which a lot of people just ignored. It was always, do I have any cavities and how are my gums? But there's a lot more going on to your oral health and your overall health than cavities and gums.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've really been able to be a part of the health plan.
And on the flip side of that, from somebody who's really going down a wellness path, taking care of our mouths is really important. I mean, the inflammation can lead in our mouth can lead to other places. So talk a little, and I know this because I have these conversations with you. So tell us more about that. That how our mouth is such an intricate part of our overall health.
Right. Right. So there's a lot of doctors now, functional medicine doctors, people really concerned about alternative wellness and how they can care for gut health and other issues. but they forget that it all starts in the mouth. If
Hmm.
somebody isn't taking care of their tissues and decreasing the inflammation, having regular dental cleanings, keeping their inflammation down in their mouths, they're opening themselves up to inflammatory disease in the rest of their body.
Right.
Anything from, you know, building plaque in arteries and potential risks of heart attack, stroke, diabetes, other inflammatory autoimmune issues. A lot of it starts from the inflammation in our mouths. And it's so easy to take care of that and just change some habits, have regular cleanings, improve the home care, watch, what kind of diet you are on. And I think that makes such a huge difference in overall health, not just your mouth, but by taking care of your mouth, you're taking care of everything.
Yeah, I love that so much. And on the other side of it is just from an aesthetics perspective is like really, having a beautiful smile is important to us. And I've heard some wonderful stories of you that you've shared about clients that you've helped. And I know there's one particular woman's story that you like to share. Would you share a little bit of that story?
So for me, a lot of things changed when I met a young lady by the name of Kara Burns. And I had gone to a Dress for Success breakfast and I heard her speaking, and something just clicked. I felt like I needed to talk with her. So she came into the practice. She'd had really bad oral health. She was missing teeth, had silver crowns. And I'll never forget this. She told me that no matter how she changed her decisions and her choices, that girl was always in the mirror. And that really stuck with me. Who she saw in the mirror prevented her from really becoming who she needed to be and who she could be. And
And
for
she
most
felt
of my
that limitation is what she was feeling when she had that initial conversation with you. It was like,
absolutely
I'm going to keep looking at, what I'm seeing here.
right. And for most of my career, I've done a little charity work here and there, to clean somebody's teeth at no charge or help them out with something. But I never was really able to make a difference. And with Kara, we sat down, we put together a plan, and we did a complete makeover. We did every tooth in her mouth. We changed who she saw in the mirror. And the day that she looked in the mirror when we finished the case, she started to cry. And then I started to cry. She said to me, "You have no idea what you've done for me." And the truth is, she had no idea what she did for me.
Right.
Because for me, I realized I could make a difference in people's lives. I love to visualize and then make it happen. I love to take care of people and just give them that confidence and the aesthetics that changes their lives.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I've been since. And that was probably 10 or 11 years ago. And I just see things different now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that story. And it's just so powerful because, I mean, you helped her. I mean, you think she went to a Dress for Success event and what she got was so much more than a Dress for Success.
But she paid it forward because not only did I affect her life, but she became the national spokesperson for Dress for Success the following year. She's involved with Denver Dress for Success and raises, I mean, at this point, probably millions of dollars to help other women to be able to go to interviews, become employed, make changes in their lives. So by taking care of this one person, the
Ripple
ripple
effect. Yeah.
effect was so huge. I see it all the time, and it
Mm.
really warms my heart. And I feel like that's kind of what when I think about what my passion and what I was born to do, I feel like that's really hitting it right on the mark.
That's so beautiful. So for someone who might be self-conscious with their smile, and what are some modern dental solutions that can really help them feel more confident about their smile and comfortable in their own skin?
So I think it starts with just sitting down, looking in the mirror, getting the information, photos, x rays, and coming up with a plan. It can be as inexpensive as teeth white will change and freshen up a smile. Just getting your teeth clean, having them look clean and fresh.
Mhm. And I
It can
think this is one important thing too, Lee, that you do is you actually have a consultation room, which I don't know any other dentists that have a consultation room. So you bring them into a very lovely room with lovely art all around, and you do a consultation like this, right?
right. So you take a person, you bring them into a room with a dental chair, you know, they freeze up. They don't want to talk. It's a very uncomfortable place for most people.
Yeah.
So we built this consultation room and it has glass doors and it's very comfortable. And we just sit down and talk. And for me, that's where we build trust. We build the relationship. It's where the person sitting across from me feels heard, feels seen, and feels understood. And we go through everything and we come up with a plan based on what they want, what they can afford, what their needs are. I do everything, as I said, from just teeth whitening or just a good cleaning to full mouth rehabilitation, where people come in and their teeth are just worn down and broken, and they look in the mirror and they feel old and they feel uncomfortable. And we talk about what's possible, and then we do it.
Yeah.
And then we put the plan together and we do it for them
That's
and we
lovely.
take care of them. And we have a kind of a saying in the office how we're changing the dental experience. But we
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
We're changing how we treat people. We're changing how we serve people. We're changing how we talk to people.
Yeah.
And we're letting them take some responsibility in that process. So they give us input and feedback and they feel like they've had they have ownership in what's happening. So it's not just happening to them. They're choosing those services and they're choosing to make those changes. And it's very different.
Yeah, and I think that's why your business has been so successful. So let's just talk a little bit about the journey to getting, to building $1 million business that I know you've been able to sustain over multiple years now. And so, what has that been like? Taking your business to that level, and what are some of the biggest lessons you have learned along the way to get to that seven-figure level?
Well, first, I don't necessarily look at numbers. The first thing I have to do is think about how can I best serve this person? But
Hmm.
how do I get them into that consult room in the first place?
Hmm.
A long time ago, I made the decision I can either be on everybody's insurance plan and run
Hmm.
an assembly line and put my roller skates on, or I can be out meeting the community because people want to do business with other people. We all heard this who they know, like, and trust,
Hmm.
but you have to be out there.
Right,
And so for me, it's getting involved in community.
and you
It's
do
being
that
a
so
part
well.
it's being a part of different women's groups. It's being a part of my community. I'm involved with my synagogue and the Jewish community, and just being there for people, answering their questions, taking the time. I give people my cell phone number because they trust me with their health. I trust them with my number. And I
Right.
feel like when people have that phone number, it gives them a little peace of mind.
Hmm.
And with that, we've been able to just change how we take care of them and
Yeah.
the relationships that we have. And I think that in itself has brought more people into the practice who
Yeah.
want that kind of care now.
And it's so
And
relationship um centric, right? Everything about your practice is relationship
right.
centric.
And then they tell other people who they care about and they know I can make a difference for. And I'm just a hard worker. I'm willing to come in, I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm really good to my team, and my
Hmm.
team is wonderful with our patients. And we just have a wonderful group of women who care and are professional and just take care of everyone.
Yeah. I love that the relationships is like at the heart of all that you do. That's really taking your business to this level. It's exciting to see that, and it's honorable.
You know, it's funny because I've been doing this a long time,
Hmm.
and I do have some people saying, "So, are you thinking about retiring? When are you going to retire?" And the truth is, I can't think of anything I would rather do most days when I wake up.
Yeah.
if I'm not traveling to some great place, I would rather come to work and care for people. I have so much fun here and I just love what I do that I don't want to retire. I,
Yeah.
I, I have no
Yeah.
reason to.
Yeah. I love that. I love it so much. So as you start to think through, what's next for you in your dentistry and like what you're bringing to it, what are you most excited about?
So, as much as I don't want to retire, I also want to be able to travel. I want to be able to take some time off. I want to be able to do things while I still can. And so we're growing. I'm going to I've brought in a new dental assistant. I'm going to bring in a new office manager, and I'm going to have the infrastructure and support staff so we can bring in a new young dentist.
Hmm.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to mentor that person. I'm excited that we can work together and we can have a bigger impact in our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like, and that's that mentoring, that lifting others as you climb too, right? It's like you've built this amazing practices, like be able to teach this, what been able to do in your practice to someone else will be a great gift to somebody.
You know, and as I said, I'm probably on the other side of my career. I'm as excited and passionate as I was when I started. But what's really important is I've always had a coach.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like there are blind spots.
Hmm.
There are things you don't know or you can't see, or you just get used to doing things the same way you always did. So I feel fortunate that I get to work with you
Well, I'm
and
very blessed that I get to work with you, so I love it.
I get to learn from you. So I work with a coach. I go down to Scottsdale and I do continuing education at an institute where I learn new techniques. I learn new instrumentation. You have to always be learning and
Yeah,
growing if you want to
yeah,
be able to serve people the best to your best ability. So that's been really cool too, that I still feel that that's important. And sometimes I may be the oldest person in the room, and that's okay. That's
yeah.
okay.
It's totally okay because it's like you have all this rich wisdom that that you've brought along the way, and I agree with you. It's that learning, that continual state of learning makes us all better and stronger. It's like I certainly can look at my pathway. If I didn't have the coaches I've had over the years, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So it's like having places where we can learn and grow and mentors and guides and all of that is really useful.
And you have to have a plan. I think
Yeah.
it's really important that you have goals, you have a plan, you know where you're going, you know what you want to accomplish and how you want to accomplish it. Um,
And
that
you are a numbers person because I've seen your numbers. I'm just gonna give you that credit because you are really good with like planning out your plan,
you
it's
know,
really admirable.
there's a lot of people who are passionate about different things, and there's
Hmm.
a lot of people who have small businesses. But the truth is, unless you really know your numbers and unless you have that goal and that plan, it's a hobby.
Yeah,
It's not a business.
yeah,
So, as much
yeah,
as I love what I do, it is a business. And
yeah,
if I don't treat it like a business, then I won't be here for the next person who needs my care.
yeah. The
So, that's been really
sustainability of you is so important, right?
right.
And taking care of you in the mix of that, and so that you build the practice that really gives you the life that you want. And I think I think what you've built is really beautiful.
What
So,
is your thing this year? Like time freedom?
oh, I talk a lot about time freedom, time prosperity,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
That
yeah,
that's in the plan.
yeah,
I want that time. So
yeah,
when I'm working, I'm really into what I'm doing, and when I'm not, I'm able to really let it go and be into what I'm doing at that time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. So where can people learn more about you and Weisbard Dental?
So they can look online. They can go to our website at weisbarddental.com. They are welcome to come in for a complimentary consult. Just talk. Just talk
Yeah,
about what's possible, what are their options. If they know they need a dentist, they're welcome to make an appointment for a cleaning and exam, and we can sit down and talk there. There's lots of different ways they can come in and see us. But if they just want to check us out, they can go to the website. We have blogs, we have videos, we have lots and lots of information so that they can feel comfortable coming to see us.
Excellent. I love it so much. So the final question I always close with is, what are three pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave with us today?
Number one, follow your passion. Follow what lights you up. You know, working at a job for your life needs to be something that lights you up, that you're passionate about, and that you really have a reason to get up in the morning. You need to know your purpose and why you're here. That would be, I'd say, the most important, following your passion. Number two, have a plan. Be
Hmm.
organized, have goals, have a plan. Um, and the third one, balance.
Mm,
Know the balance. Have work life balance. Make sure that you find time for self care, for career, for relationships, for spouse, friends, kids. Just that balance makes all the difference because when you're balanced, your energy is full of abundance and everybody feels that.
yeah, so true. So true. Well, thank you, Lee. It's such a pleasure to share your stories today and just share the good work that you're doing in the world. So thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, Cami. I really appreciate being a part of Extraordinary Women.
Yeah, you bet.